Today, the Vice President of Hockey Operations for the AHL, Hayley Moore, joins us to talk about her experience in leadership at the AHL level, as well as what laying the foundation for the PHF and their hockey operations look like.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Locked On Flames. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, and just thank you so much for joining and supporting the show, whether this is your first time listening or your millionth time. So thank you, everyone, and make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, and that way you stay up to date with the latest news, your team every day. So this is one of the coolest interviews I've ever done, and I think that it is so important to recognize the women in sports and really the builders of the then NWHL, now PHF, and I hope that you enjoy, and I will see you later. Well, thank you, Hayley, for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Nice to see you.
Of course. Yeah, this is first interview I've done in quite some time, so it's a treat for everyone.
It is. I haven't done one in a while either, and it's always nice to meet new faces.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
It's a great way to kind of break up, get back into the swing of things for sure. So I wanted to talk to you today about just your journey through hockey in general. How did you get into it, and how has that all kind of led you to this vice presidency in hockey operations for the AHL?
Yeah, good question. The magic question, I guess. But for me, I fell in love with the game at a really young age. I had an older brother who played, we played street hockey and all that good stuff. And so I started playing at the age of 4 and really never looked back. I fell in love with it. I have the same passion for the game today that I always have, and just feel really lucky to be involved and to be able to kind of give back to the sport that's given me so much and, got me all of the best relationships in my life and friendships and taken me all over the world. So, played through college and then was fortunate enough to kind of find my path, which was a bit of a discovery process and figuring out where my role off the ice was going to be. And I'm really happy to be here with the AHL now and learning a ton and getting to work with a lot of great hockey minds.
Yeah, and I'm sure, working at Harvard as the assistant coach is so different from, even just like your roles in the then NWHL, even compared to now.
Definitely. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of helped give me a little bit of perspective and having a few different types of roles in hockey. But I learned pretty early on in my career that while I enjoyed coaching, it wasn't it didn't feel like the right path for me long term. And, there's plenty of fulfillment that I got out of it, but I just wanted more of that behind the scenes look. I wanted more of the management side. And until the NWHL existed, I didn't really have the opportunity to discover that. So, when I came in kind of at the ground floor in that first season with the Boston Pride, it was just a completely eye-opening experience for me. And it was a great opportunity to learn what I was good at, what I wasn't good at, and just be a part of building something really special. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And it was a discovery process for me, for sure.
What did that process look like? How did it start? And did you have to kind of have like an internal, conflict resolution session or two with yourself?
Yeah, it happened actually a little bit before that where, so my first kind of job in athletics was as a head hockey coach at St. Mark's School, and I was an assistant athletic director there as well. And so I was coaching at the high school level, and from there I went on to Harvard and coached as an assistant there for 2 seasons. And that's when I recognized I was kind of missing the administrative and management side of the job that I had working at St. Mark's. So that was a little bit of the turning point for me, where I stepped away from coaching as my full time and said, I'm craving more of the operation side of the game. And that's when I went to the East Coast Wizards as the director of girls hockey there. And it was a great mesh between the behind the scenes, the management, the, building out development programs, and the coaching side of things. So a year into my role there is when the idea of the NWHL came to my plate. And Danny Ryland, and I had gone back and we played against each other growing up, and we had worked some camps together and kept in touch. And she brought the idea of a professional women's hockey league to me and said, this is our business plan. Like I feel like it's time that women get paid to play hockey in North America, and I'm going to do it. So as soon as I learned what she was looking to build, I just said, how can I help? I want to be a part of it. And so at the time I was managing, all of my teams at the youth level. We had about 23 girls teams that I was managing with the East Coast Wizards. And I said, what's one more team that I have to manage? Right.
Exactly.
Of course that looked a little bit different, but that was sort of the conversation I had with myself. And, there was a piece of me that was really still itching to play. And, for the first time I could have laced up my skates and been paid to play hockey. And I had to sort of have that conversation with myself at that point. Like, do I want to go back on the ice and train for this opportunity to play professionally that I had always dreamed of? Or do I want to kind of look to build my career off the ice? And that was the path that I chose. I thought that there would be a lot of women willing to play and be on the ice, but maybe not as many willing to roll up their sleeves behind the ice. And I just thought that that's where I could contribute the most. My prime had probably passed. I don't think I was putting the puck in the net as easily as I was in college. So I think that was, how I could best serve the game at that point in my career. And that was really the conversation that I had to have with myself at that time.
Yeah. And, it's so important to have, obviously women on the ice playing the game, but also behind the scenes, and because no one's going to get it quite like a former college athlete, and especially a woman in the sports field, because like you can't expect like someone who is strictly business and has no hands-on hockey experience to understand like this is what this locker room needs to look like, or the equipment we need to have made available, or amenities and things like that. And I think it's great. And you are obviously blazing a trail for so many of us in the industry. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It's a great group to be a part of. And like, there's so many people that have come before us and so many people willing to do the work. So it's just been a blessing to work with everyone in this sport. And, we're all working to advance the women's game and the men's game, and just kind of propel everything forward, get more people involved. So it's been such a blessing, definitely.
Well, I hope you are all enjoying the interview so far. It has been an absolute pleasure to chat with Hayley, and I hope you stick around to hear more. But before we do that, I do want to take a quick break here to talk to you about FanDuel Sportsbook. The tournament is heating up, and there is no better way to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now FanDuel is giving brand new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That is up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and sign up today to claim your no sweat first bet. And then you can wager on everything from money line to point spreads and which team will be cutting down the net, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at the no sweat first bet, $1,000 up back in bonus bets when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
role existed within the league. It was, our first private ownership group, and they had a vision for how they wanted to move forward, and thought that a team president was vital to that next stage of growth. And I was lucky enough to be hired in that position. So it was such a great opportunity. I really loved working with all of our departments and building out our departments, building out, these new roles, and looking at the business and saying, okay, well, here are, the areas where we have some shortcomings. We need to hire some folks. We need to build positions. And it was so much fun. Honestly, it was just kind of laying the groundwork for that team on the business side and the hockey side, and trying to look to create a foundation for them to build off of. So it was a great experience for me, a great learning opportunity, and obviously always, such a great opportunity to be able to be a part of building something from the ground up. So I really enjoyed it.
That's so great to hear. And, I feel like, especially in women's hockey, there's so many opportunities for firsts, and to kind of set the precedent of what, the role of the team president should be and the standard you're held to. That's got to be nerve-wracking, but also, you're part of history. So it's also like kind of super cool.
Yeah. And I think that when you're as passionate about something as, we all are, it makes the work pretty easy, right? They say that, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And it really did. It felt that way. I just was so driven to create this path forward, and something that, I didn't have the opportunity to move on to as a player, but was just, trying to let my passion lead the way. And that's, like I said, just one of the biggest blessings for me. It was just so great to be a part of, forming it all, and those people that came in right from the beginning and wanted to do what was best for the future of the sport. It's that energizes you when you have the right people around you.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts now on the PHF? The whole rebranding, and obviously the salary cap increase.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see that these women are continuing to be paid more and more each year for the work that they do, and the product that they put on the ice. I'm just so happy to see everything continue to grow. Obviously, I'm so proud of the work that we did in laying the foundation, and I'm so proud of the players and my colleagues, and everyone that's just really contributed. So to see the growth right now, and see the cup final, it was awesome to see the cup raised again. It gives me the chills every year that happens, and to know that this is kind of a new wave of women's hockey. I love that every young girl has a cup final that they can watch a woman raise the cup at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it's emotional, honestly, to see how far everything has come. And these players deserve the world. I still keep in touch with so many of them. And I'm so happy to see many players who started in season 1 with us that are still playing. And for them to be, compensated the way that they deserve, and for, more eyes to be on the product. It's so encouraging for the future. And I hope that continues to grow from here.
Absolutely. And now, I'm very sorry to put you on the spot, but if you could expand to any city, put a PHF team anywhere, where would you put it?
Ooh, this is such a great question. Man, you know what? I'm going to go with Nashville, because we had the best experience playing an all-star event in Nashville, and the Predators were an unbelievable partner in that. But I just am a country music fan, and we're going with a dream scenario right now. So exactly. I'm going with Nashville.
I love that. I think that would be an excellent choice too. I've never seen a building as loud as Bridgestone Arena during the playoffs. They're quite the crowd, and I'm sure that we could steal a few fans from them too. Awesome. All right, let's see. What was your journey from president of the Boston Pride to your current role, and what does your role look like? Because some people are probably like, oh, it's just like behind the scenes, like silly little paperwork. What do you do?
Yes. So, so for me, I was in that role as a president with the Boston Pride, and we were all navigating the difficult times of COVID. But it was an email that I got about this job opening that kind of opened my eyes to what else might be out there. And when I got the email about the job opening, I actually forwarded it on to some friends and said, like, this job looks really cool. You should apply for it. And I had some people respond and say, it does look really cool. Why aren't you applying for it?
Of course.
So, just took a look at it a little bit more. And I had some colleagues in the industry reach out that knew that the job was opening up as well, and encouraged me to apply. And so I just started to do some reflecting and what I wanted for myself and my career. And, as I talked about earlier, like the opportunity that I had to grow and learn within the NWHL at the time is something that this job process and that interview process really kind of helped me unveil. I recognized how, it wasn't just an opportunity for all the players on the ice, but it was such a great opportunity for me personally to grow in my career, and that, the door was opening for me to be confident in going after this job with the AHL because of all the experience I had gained working with the Pride and with the league. So, I decided, maybe it was time to make a change, and I went all in on the interview process. I had to really kind of self-reflect before I applied for it, honestly, and because I wasn't looking to leave women's hockey. I am so passionate about the game, and specifically for creating opportunity for women. And then I recognized, opportunity for women means for me too. And that it's really important for women to be in these roles, and for me to, continue to kind of prove that, my experience in the women's game is just as valid for, all the young girls out there to know that there are jobs that exist for them beyond just playing or coaching. And for me to grow personally, like I've been exposed to an entirely new network here. I learn so much every single day, and the new relationships that I'm building here are invaluable. So it's been a really welcome transition. And in my job, for my responsibilities, I'm overseeing essentially all of the on ice operations for the league. So that varies quite a bit, but we primarily it will be the officiating program. We have over 200 officials that I manage from the league side. We have our player safety and discipline process that I oversee. So that is a bulk of my job as well. Any of the kind of in-game operations, regulations, those types of things. It's a lot of communication with our general managers and with our on-ice officials, coaches as well, and just trying to continue to provide the best development platform for players, coaches, and our officials, because the goal is for them to work their way up to the NHL as well. So it's a lot of communication, a lot of management, a lot of leadership, and then there's plenty of the nitty gritty as well in terms of scheduling and all those things. So I get to wear a bunch of different hats, just like I did in my past role, and I really enjoy that.
That's so cool. And like in roles like that, I'm sure it's not the same thing every day, and it's not a 9 to 5 where you just get to hang up the hat at the end of the day. But it's imperative to have competent people in these roles, as for hockey players, because obviously their safety and whatnot matters, but just to make sure that everything's going smooth and as it should.
Exactly. Yes. Very well said. So that's honestly one of my favorite parts of the job, is that I kind of get to be a problem solver. Working at the league, we're here to serve the teams and to make everything more streamlined and efficient for them. So like you said, no day is the same. And working on, scheduling one day and, flying to a game the next, or, working on a discipline hearing or whatever it may be. So that definitely keeps me on my toes. But just looking to kind of solve problems and make the lives of our teams easier, and, look to continue to serve them in the game and in our league.
That is fantastic. Have you had any truly life-changing moments in this role where maybe you're traveling and seeing an outdoor arena or something and you're just this is my life now, I get to be part of this?
So many of them, honestly. I've had some fun milestones. We had a great outdoor game in Cleveland this year. Absolutely. I think probably the most memorable right now is the Calder Cup final from last year. It had been a couple of years since the Calder Cup was raised. We kind of went through the ups and downs of COVID, and for us collectively as a league to finally be able to award that cup was so meaningful, and it felt like a culmination of all of our hard work, and it felt like I'm part of a team again, and we did this. We got here, and we were able to, pass that joy on to the Chicago Wolves and watch them celebrate. So that was a really special moment, absolutely, and just, kind of felt like, wow, I've made it. I can't believe, we're awarding a cup here, and it's always a special moment when you can do that. So.
Absolutely. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but what are your thoughts on Toronto winning a cup?
Oh my gosh. Well, biggest thought is Teresa Vanasova with that game winner was unreal.
Okay.
I've always been such a big fan of hers. I remember watching her in college, and I'm like, we need to get this girl on our team. And, obviously drafted and signed her in Boston. She's just such a skilled, fantastic player. So I was psyched for her to put that skill on display for the world. Just a testament to what the women's game has to offer. And, I have friends on both teams, so, sad for the Whitecaps, but I think it just shows how far women's hockey has come, and, to have such a battle like that and go into overtime, it's, what more can you want as a fan to enjoy that game? So, super excited. And it's always fun to see a new team win, and for this, the first Canadian team to hoist that cup. So they'll always be able to have that. That's a moment in history, and very excited, and congratulate them on that.
Well, thank you so much, Hayley, for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Can people find you on social media and to keep up with your fun work?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. But I'm on Twitter at Hayley Moore 9. So you can follow me there. And I'm not sure how eventful it will be, but I'm always looking to promote other women. So if you hear any cool stories about women in hockey or anywhere else, you can tag me in that, and I'll look to share the love.
Love that. And thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us here on Locked On Flames. And we will be back tomorrow.
Thank you.